because we sometimes we assume the others have the sort of a glass ball effect. We have established that there are differences in behavior and being, but how can we communicate this, how we want to be treated? For example, conflicts often arise because overwhelmedness can only be communicated in an emotional expression or in a withdrawal or in an explosion, and the others see what's going on right now. But there is a step before. Once I understand where my boundaries are, where my limits are, to what extent can I process information? To what extent can I function within a team, within a group of people? Is how do I communicate that? For example, Joseph and we work together also in an organization, other things. So may I use your example, Joseph? Do you give me permission? Ahead. So when Joseph says, wait a moment, for example, I need to be processing step by step. So give it to me step by step. So then I said, oh, wait a moment. Yes, I'm a multitasker. So I automatically assume that you also are as swift as I am in multitasking, for example. I use this example and I asked Joseph's permission to give this example because it's very important to communicate our boundaries before we overreact by either withdrawing or by expressing our displeasure in one way or the other, or avoiding. We have different strategies, like either we avoid the person, we avoid the situation, or so when we set the boundaries and give the boundaries in that sense to say, I need, by expressing our needs, by verbalizing our needs, I need this step-by-step information in order to collaborate or to work together with you. That is a clear communication.
Okay, just a quick word from our sponsors.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go!
Top business tips, extraordinary entrepreneur interviews, cuckoo reviews, promotional films, and so much more. This is your Business Live Global.
And I wanted to go on, Andrew.
I just want to. One of the things that I do when I'm working with people who work in a work environment is try to find ways that they can help their managers and their supervisors communicate with them. And that's by saying, I need a checklist, I want a procedure, I want a rote, I want to know step by step by step. Because what you're actually doing in a very gentle, very subtle, not in a big brothery kind of way, you're actually training the people around you and your managers in how best to communicate with you. And that is so important, that communication is a two-way thing. You cannot have a business relationship, a working relationship with someone when it is all dictatorial. You shall do bang, bang, bang. There are things that need to be done in business. You need to do this task and this task, but it's how you go about instructing, guiding the person doing that task so that they feel ownership of it and they can have a sense of pride in doing it, but then still meet the deliverable objectives to your boss, to your supervisor, to your client. So it's really important that process of backwards and forwards that you have with your colleagues and with your supervisor, what you're actually doing is training them how to communicate with you so that they can get the best out of you. And that's really important.
So what I'd like to ask then,
hold on, Jonathan.
Come on.
Sorry, Jonathan, I want to step in here a little bit.
Yep.
So keep that question on hold and hopefully you remember it as well. But right now, though, we have to put into perspective, though. I mean, I agree with what Andrew has said, and I agree with what Maria Gabrielle has said. But we have to put into perspective, though, that we're kind of putting the cart before the horse, okay? Which is people need to know who they are in order to be able to communicate. Yes. People have to understand what they have. And, so going to your point, or even Jonathan's point about minor, I was told my dyslexia, because I'm technically, I would say 50% dyslexic. And I say that again because often visual perception gets misdiagnosed as being dyslexic. So I'm a little bit unsure if I really am dyslexic, but I was told it was minor. Okay, well, what does minor mean? All right, how does that affect me?